appreciably softer, but there is still the crunchy interior. No. Now one of my buddies, Salty Shellback, he's going to do a comparison. He's got some of the Datrex bars, which is pretty much what this is. I mean, it's pretty much just a Datrex bar. This is...
Well, Salty has left the building, so your friend MacSalty is going to do the comparison of the Datrex bars and the Wally World emergency food rations. And of course, got some emergency refreshment to wash it all down with. Don't try that at home, kiddies. Goes down smooth. Alright, now that I've cleansed the palate, expiration date December 2016. It is September 12th, 2016, so these actually have 3 months before they self-destruct. Let's get her open here. So I'm going to do a comparison between the Datrex. Ooh. There is now the memory is coming back. I had these biscuits. If I find a picture on the internet, I'll superimpose it here. I remember growing up and they had these little biscuits. They're like a cracker, but they're a sweet cracker. And that's what they smell like. That's what these smell like. Oh. They are individually packed. Instructions: eat 1 bar every 6 hours per person. Eat in small pieces. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a little nibble of this back to back with this. Good Lord, you can use this as a blunt force object to dispatch the zombies. On a lark, for $5 I'll give it a shot. Now is the time to experiment to see if these give you the unholy digestive problems instead of when you actually need these to survive. I don't imagine most people will have problems, but you know, for $5 you're probably better off finding out now than later when you actually need the stuff. Alright, so I have perforated this package. Oh my goodness. And it's just one brick, one contiguous brick. And by the light you can see that it's kind of pre-pressed. This just like Dude said, this smells just like that cinnamon apple oatmeal. And so right away they have different smells. This is a much crumblier and this is a more manageable hunk. 5-year-old Datrex. The texture is like a shortbread cookie. Not bad. There's a tinge of sweet to it, but not really. Let me get another hunk. This thing has a black chunk in it. MacSalty don't care. Wally World. It's a little moister. It's not as crumbly. It actually tastes pretty good. What Dude was referring to as a comparison was Salty was going to put them in hot water and try to blend them up, make like a little porridge. So through the magic of YouTube, there just so happens to be 2 cups of hot water coming right up. Alright, you can hear the water boiling. It's about 1/8 of a cup. There. Just gotta break it up. Now, I thought about doing it with milk, but in a survival situation, chances are milk is going to be pretty scarce unless you can find a cow or a farm or something. But it's very, very crumbly. Now that's 1 bar. You're only supposed to eat 1 of these every 6 hours, so I probably got a little too much water in there. But we'll see. It might puff up on me. In a survival situation, anything you can do to kind of change the variety of whatever you have on hand. Oh yeah, it's starting to thicken up pretty good. So I just let that soak while I get some of the apple cinnamon stuff here. Just gonna try. It's hard to kind of get an equivalent because it's so crumbly. Yeah, right away the Datrex I think is going to be a little bit easier to manage, but I guess you can if you were careful. I don't even know how to break this up. I guess if you're careful, you can manage your portion size. Good golly. Well, I don't want to poke through the cup. So right away, just in the dry form, they have very different tastes. They have very different textures. All right, and the Wally World stuff doesn't want to break up at all. So +1 for Datrex, it does break up a little better if you're trying to do this sort of concoction. So now it's more of a paste. You know, if you have a baby or something like that, or young children, or even if you have in a survival situation, a prolonged survival situation, you may have teeth problems. You don't really have to worry about chewing that stuff so much. So things got a little messy trying to break this up, so I had to switch to a glass implement. But I guess during a survival situation, you should have access to a cookware, at least cookware or something, right? And you should be able to either have a campfire or an emergency stove or something like that. So let me heat it up a little bit more just to be fair. Well, I didn't see this coming. I heated it in the microwave, and it's almost become like gelatin-like. Look. So I don't know if the microwave would do that, or if you just heated it with a campfire, if it would do that. So I'm gonna let that cool off and cleanse the palate. The Datrex, only supposed to eat 1 of those biscuits every 4 hours, every 6 hours. So let's give it a shot here. I'm just gonna take a little tip of the spoon there. Really not, it's not unpleasant, but I guess if you're hungry, it would definitely, that much food is probably going to just take the edge off your hunger, but it's definitely not going to be satisfying. As expected, it tastes like warm, wet Datrex bar. I guess adding water helps you from depleting your own water content, and plus, again, it's a different way of eating it that isn't as miserable as crunching on a dry, crumbly bar. All right, so let's give the old apple cinnamon a try. I might have to try it again without nuking it so long. I only nuked it for like 30 seconds. So here's that apple stuff. This is going to really surprise you. It tastes like apple pie crust. Really, really does. I'm pleasantly surprised. You know how you get that apple pie, the part of the apple pie on the bottom that doesn't bake, but it's really mushy and it's got the flavor of the apple on it. Man, that's good. And the parts that are kind of crunchy kind of remind me of the part of the crust that did bake. So, dude, you gotta give this a shot. Although the appearance of it is not very appealing, right? It's kind of floppy. Look at that. So it's kind of rubbery looking, but when you bite into it, it's actually really good. It's like a dessert. I like this a lot. Gives me an idea for making like camp food. Now, the other question is, what does it do to your digestive system? We'll find out, right? But I'm telling you, man, this is incredible. I'm enjoying this. Really, really. Very pleasant surprise. Wow, this is good. So I know dude had a bad experience with eating it just dry, but if you just put a little bit of water in there, heat it up, mash it up real good, it's literally like eating an apple pie. That is good. So, I highly recommend going out and getting you one of these food bricks, or a couple, and give it a shot. I've never been more surprised at a food before in my life, and it kind of goes back to Hashnasi's video one time where it's like he was talking about tools. You know, he's really surprised by some of the tools he bought, but kind of hearken it to, you know, this experience. You don't have high expectations for this stuff, but given that the taste and the texture of just putting it in some hot water, I tell you, it some good comfort food. It'll lift your spirits. It tastes good even outside of an emergency survival situation. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm just amazed. Right, I'm speechless, amazed. Definitely better than this. I mean, those are okay. It's still kind of grainy. Now I don't know. Again, so dude, if you try this, try it just with hot water, mash it up first. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a hunk, mash it up first, and then add water to it and see if it gets gelatiny, like if you nuked it with the stuff mixed in. So hold on. Okay, I've got like this much of the bar crushed up, and the largest piece is, you know, probably about the size of a peanut or something, maybe a little bigger, but not much. And all I did was I took my knife and I jammed it in there. I've got about 1/8 a cup of water, and I'm just going to add it to the cup there. So this would be boiling the water first and putting it in with the mix. Bread pudding, that's what I'm trying to think of. That last stuff was like bread pudding. So no, it doesn't appear like it's going to turn into bread pudding. Yeah, it's not going to thicken up. So it looks more like frosting. Yeah, it's very pasty. Not good. Not good at all. So let's do this. Yeah, I don't. This is not good. Adding the hot water to the stuff and just, you know, letting the hot water naturally cool off while you're mixing it together. No, this is not good. Tastes like it tastes like what you would imagine eating baby food was like, with some crunchy bits. All right, so let's do this then. To be fair, let's put the Datrex in the microwave the same time we put the and all right. So here's the Datrex, right? It's not as floppy. So let me put a little more water. I'll be right back. All right, here's the Datrex. It's a little more runny. In this, of course, it's kind of congealed. So just to show you, right, runny and kind of creamy there. Not the bread pudding consistency. So I'll run it right over the microwave here. Yeah, this is still kind of runny. This has not turned into the bread pudding yet. So back she goes for another 30. Let's mix it up a little bit. Oh, we might have stumbled into a new way to prepare survival food. Give that a good mix. All right, and then this. See if it's become that. Yeah. See, it's become like bread pudding. Wow, check that out. Look at that. All right. Well, I know that tastes good. So that is a winner there, man. You know, you could probably make like a fruit custard and just grind this stuff up and then put water in it and then put fruit in the middle and then bake it. So be looking forward to that in the next MacSalty cooking video. So I'll let that cool off. This, not so much. Still just warmer. I'm going to give it one more chance. I'm going to give it another 15, maybe 30 seconds. Hold on. Okay. Moment of truth. Did it congeal? Yes. It kind of congealed. Not like, I mean, step into the light. Okay. It did congeal. Maybe you got too much water in there, but still the flavor is just not there. The flavor is not like the Wally World stuff. Yeah, it's just, now it's like a bland bread pudding instead of real flavorful bread pudding. It's just bland bread pudding. But this gives you the calories you need, the moisture you need. It doesn't take away from your body's internal moisture. It is comfort food. It's warm. Anybody, well, most people in an emergency situation should be able to boil water. Again, if you can't boil water, you can eat it dry, but if you have the means, boil it up. It's not terrible. You can live on it. It's much better than eating it dry. But I gotta tell you, this stuff here that step into the light, that kind of bounces. See how it bounces around? Reminds me of bread pudding. It's still hot. So I'm gonna try, like I said, when I get home, I'm gonna try baking this on a stove, or actually even doing it on a camp stove to recreate or simulate an emergency situation and see how it turns out. This might be some pretty good comfort food and survival food at the same time. Oh man. That is right there. That is right there, I'm telling you. I've had like apple custard. You know what would go go with this? Some ice cream. So this is like apple pie custard or bread pudding. I would eat this in a non-emergency situation. Wow, that is good. All right. So that is my assessment of the Datrex survival food and the Wally World Apple emergency food ration bars, and what you can do with it to make it more palatable. And boy, I'm telling you, this is definitely more palatable than eating it dry or just adding hot water to it. Something about cooking it and getting it to transform into this consistency is incredible. So that's all I got for now. This video has been Salty approved. Later. Oh, even better.